everyone, I'm Hannah and thank you so much for joining me today for your practice. Today we're going to begin lying down on our fronts. So get yourself towards the top end of your mat or your space, wherever it is you're practicing today. I'm going to slowly peel ourselves down onto our front body, maybe giving a little bit of a wiggle for a moment and just checking that we're comfortable. I'm going to suggest that you take your feet out to about the bottom corners of your mat. Let the legs, hips and heels relax, so the legs will probably roll in slightly. And then I'd like you to take your hands, make a little bit of a stack of the hands or a pillow for your forehead, and see if you can lightly place your forehead down onto the hands, leaving a bit of space for the face and the nose to not get squished. So we can still breathe gently in and out here. This posture is called crocodile. It's one of my favorites. And we're going to stay here for the next couple of minutes. So do your best just to check that you are as comfortable as you can be. Once you're settled, take a moment to find your breath. And without changing the breath, just notice your inhale and your exhale, whatever that is naturally in this moment. And then take a second just to check in with the body. How does the body feel? And then take a moment to check in with the mind. Just noticing the sort of thoughts you're having today. Maybe the speed that your thoughts are traveling at. And then when you're ready to begin to bring your attention back to your breath, maybe taking a slightly deeper inhale and a gentle exhale through the mouth. Let's do that one more time, breathing in through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth, seeing if we can let the body just settle and relax, maybe a little bit more. And then begin to bring the breath in and out through the nose only. And let's see if we can shift the breath down into the belly. So feeling the belly expand and contract each time that we breathe in and out. And just feeling the support of the floor beneath us. Making us feel as though we are secure. Maybe allowing the breath to become a little bit longer, a little bit more drawn out. Noticing if we are holding tension anywhere in the body and seeing if we can let those areas soften. Maybe letting the body itself feel a little bit heavier against the ground. Let's take one more deep breath here. And then very slowly, just lifting the head enough to begin sliding the hands out, bringing them outside the shoulders, letting the toes tuck under, and being mindful of our lower backs, pressing our way up through all fours, and we're going to push straight back into a child's pose. So bringing the big toes to touch, maybe sliding the knees forwards ever so slightly, and you might even widen the knees out to about the width of your mat, or they might be a little bit closer together. You choose what feels best for you. Opening our head and heart down towards the ground once again. Beautiful, guys. Very slowly, let's begin to walk the hands in, rolling up through the spine. And if it's comfortable, maybe just sitting on the knees and the heels if this doesn't feel appropriate. You can switch out to a cross-legged position for these next couple of moments. And however you're choosing to sit, just taking a moment to lengthen through the spine, maybe even closing the eyes, drawing the tailbone down towards the ground, letting the shoulders soften. Just checking in for a moment here, finding that breath once again. I'll inhale and exhale in and out through the nose, breath reaching the abdomen. gently float the eyes open. Let's make our way into tabletop, all fours position. So if you are sitting cross-legged, just carefully uncross the legs, bringing the hands forwards, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, fingers spread, and ideally avoiding any locked action of the elbows, so soften them just into a micro bend. And then from here, take a moment to find your foundation, grounding down through the hands, weight evenly between the upper and lower body, lengthening through the spine, making sure our lower back isn't collapsing, so hugging in those lower abdominal muscles. Think a belly button pulling towards the top of the pubic bone. And as we take a few breaths here, just checking in, really observing and acknowledging every sensation that we're feeling in the body right now. As you take your next inhale breath, allow your belly to begin to soften, gently arching through the spine, taking the face forwards or maybe up if that feels good. Exhaling to reverse this shape, hug the abdominal muscles in, round out the back into your cat stretch, tuck the chin towards the chest. As you breathe in, let the belly begin to soften into your cow stretch. And as you breathe out, rounding out through that spine once again into your cat stretch. And just continue with your breath for another few rounds. There's absolutely no rush. You're moving at your pace in a way that feels safe and supportive to your body, your mind, your breath. Beautiful work, guys. We're going to take one more round. Just keep moving in the way that you are. And whenever you finish your next cat pose, that rounded out shape with the back, just slowly come back into that neutral spine, all fours, tabletop position. Pausing here for a breath, taking your awareness down to the foundations of your stance, your hands, your lower legs, checking that you're hugging in those lower abdominal muscles. Yeah, beautiful. Take your time when you're ready to extend your right leg out and back behind you, and then spin the palm, or the sole of the foot I should say, down onto your mat. You can carefully slide that left foot behind you just a little bit more for a bit more stability if you'd like. And then take the right arm up, making our way into a side body stretch. So if it feels good, you might even take those right fingertips all the way overhead, stretching all the way through the body. So pressing down through the right outside edge of the foot, lifting up through those right fingertips, maybe looking up if that feels nice. Very slowly, from wherever you are, begin to come back into your tabletop, mindfully, slowly, being careful of that left kneecap. As you come back into your all fours, pause for a breath here, get your weight even between the lower legs and the hands. And then switching sides, take the left leg out and back, spin the sole of the foot down. Maybe shift that right foot carefully behind the body for a little bit more stability. And then take that left arm up, either stretching the fingertips up towards the ceiling or bringing the arm all the way over the head if that feels nice for a slightly deeper stretch. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Great, wherever you are, slowly begin to shift back into your all fours. Again, take your time, moving mindfully and carefully, making even these transitions part of your practice. Okay, when we're ready to widen the hands ever so slightly, spread the fingers, tuck the toes, and squeezing our core muscles, let's lift the hips up into a downward facing dog. No rush getting there. Let's take a few breaths in our first downward dog, maybe to walk through the feet. Give the head a bit of a shake and just let the body move in any way that feels good. Just easing yourself in, not forcing anything, but making sure that we're breathing. Sitting bones are lifting high. Lower abdominal muscles are engaged to support our lower back. Let's take 1 or 2 more breaths here. As always, remembering that if you want to skip downward dog, or if it just starts to feel too much, you can always come to your child's pose as an alternative. Okay, we're going to begin walking our hands backwards towards our feet. No rush, take your time, bend the knees as much as you need to. So the feet are probably going to be about hip width, maybe even a little bit wider. That's absolutely fine. Leave the feet where they are, grab hold of opposite elbows and let the head flop. So really relaxed spine. Maybe take some gentle swaying movements here if this feels good. If you prefer, you can simply hang in stillness. slowly rock your way back into center if you're swaying. Bring the hands all the way down to the mat, so bend the knees as much as you need. Start to walk the hands forwards. We're coming back towards our downward dog shape, or if you prefer, you can come straight into your child's pose. Taking 2 or 3 breaths. And then slowly, when you're ready to, make your way into your all fours position. Take your time, lowering down with control. Beautiful. From here, let's come all the way down onto our bellies. So up to you how you get here. You can press up, down. You can just sort of snake down. You can slide down. You find the safest way for you to get down onto your front. Hands outside the shoulders. Bring the legs all the way together. Point the toes behind you. Squeeze the legs as if you're holding something in between your thighs, but don't clench the muscles in your bottom. Now pressing the top of the pubic bone down into the mat, lift the head and shoulders. You can use the hands to help press into the mat for extra support, squeezing the shoulder blades together. I want you to keep the back of the neck low. We're just coming into our baby cobra, so it doesn't need to be a big movement. Think more about having length through the spine than lifting up super high. On your next breath out, gently release, forehead to the ground. Let's do that one more time as we breathe in, lifting up once, baby cobra. And as we breathe out, lowering down with control. And once more, breathing in with your breath when you're ready. Baby cobra, lift the head and chest. Breathing out, forehead down. Beautiful. Inhale, tuck your toes under, squeeze your core muscles, and trying to support your lower back. Press your way back up into that all fours position. Bring the knees and the hips into alignment. Place the hands underneath the shoulders. Take a moment just to ground here. Find your foundation once again. And then inhaling, let the belly soften. Just take one round of cat and cow, rounding out through the spine as you exhale. Beautiful work. Coming back into that neutral flat back position. Tuck the toes under. One last time, lift those hips high, and then walk the feet forwards towards the hands, taking as many steps as you like. Bend the knees if you want. See if you can bring the feet all the way towards the top end of the mat. Grounding down through all 4 corners of the feet. So give the toes a little flex and spread. And then without letting the toes clench, let the knees be soft. Hang the arms down and roll up through the spine. Vertebrae by vertebrae. No rush. Head lifts last. And give the shoulders a gentle roll or 2 as you take a deep breath in and out. Beautiful. Bring the palms to meet at heart center into Anjali Mudra when you're ready. Again, just pausing here, maybe even with the eyes closed. Take a moment to find the length through the body, pressing down through all 4 corners of the feet. Imagining the tailbone is weighted, being pulled down towards the ground. The crown of the head is lifting long up towards the sky. Beautiful. Let's wait for our next breath in. We're simply going to reach these arms up, overhead. And as we breathe out, let's fold forwards, bend the knees as much as you like, coming down towards your version of a forward fold. As you take your next inhale breath, hands are down on the mat, walk the feet back. And then come straight down into your all fours position. And then come back down onto your belly. Maybe coming down through that push-up position, maybe snaking down. You find the safest way for your body. Inhaling when you're ready, baby cobra, point the toes, lift the head and chest. Exhale, fold forwards. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, baby cobra. Exhaling, folding forwards. Last time, breathe in, baby cobra. Breathing out, releasing down. This time as you inhale, tuck the toes, use your core muscles. Press down through the hands, lift back up into your all fours. Maybe coming into a child's pose just for a moment, or if you prefer a downward dog for a few breaths is absolutely fine. And then taking our time, we're going to meet in that all four shape, and we're going to bring our right foot forwards. You can use your hands to help draw that leg around, be mindful of the hip. And as we come into this lunge position here, make sure that you can get all 4 corners of your right foot grounded on your mat. okay? Even if that means shifting the hips further back, that's absolutely fine, but make sure that foot is flat. We're taking a moment here, check your toes unclenching on your right foot. Give them a little flex, a wiggle and a spread, and then come to the fingertips, let the chest open, extending through the spine, press the shoulders into the muscles of the back. Beautiful. Now as you take your next breath in, just mindfully begin walking your fingertips or your hands backwards, shifting the hips back and just working towards straightening that right leg. It doesn't need to straighten all the way. Maybe you flex that right foot. And then as you breathe out, again, walk the fingertips or hands forward, come back into that lunge, sink the hips as far forwards as feels like a good stretch for you. Let's do that 2 more times. Working with your breath as you breathe in. Time your movement with your breath, sinking the hips back. As you breathe out, gently crawling forward, stretching through those hips. 1 more time. Breathing in and breathing out. Let's bring both hands inside that right foot, maybe heel toeing the right foot out to the side of the mat ever so slightly. And then just allowing those hips to be heavy for a few breaths here. If this feels enough, simply stay here on the hands. If you want a little bit more intensity, you're welcome to drop down onto one elbow, maybe even both elbows. Great work, guys. 1 more breath here. Wherever you are, search for a little bit more length through the spine. And if you do happen to be down on both elbows, slowly begin coming back up onto the palms of the hands. Bring that right foot back into a little bit more alignment. And then keeping your left hand under your left shoulder, start to twist in towards that right thigh, hugging the belly button in towards the spine. Taking those right fingertips up towards the ceiling, maybe looking up at your fingers. If that doesn't feel good for the neck, you might look down at the ground instead. 1 more breath here. If you want to add a tiny bit more intensity, you have the option to tuck your left toes. Maybe lift that knee and keep pulling that right knee and shin forwards as you press back through the left heel. From wherever you are, start to peel that right hand down. Mindfully come back into your all-4 shape, gently bringing that right leg around and out. Give the hips a little bit of a rock side to side. And when you're ready, let's step that left foot forwards and in front. Use your left hand to help you. As you ease into your lunge on this side, again, check to make sure you get all 4 corners of your left foot grounded. When you're happy, come to your fingertips. Open the chest. Take a deep breath. Sink the muscles of the shoulders into the back. And then again, we're going to take 3 rounds of dynamically moving to open up the hips. So when you're ready, wait for your next inhale breath and start to walk the hands or fingertips back. It doesn't matter how far back you go. Maybe flexing that left foot. And as you breathe out, gently creep the arms forwards, letting the hips sink down. 2 more times. Inhaling as you shift back. Exhaling as you shift forwards. 1 more round. Now as you come forwards this time, heel toe the left foot slightly out to the left side so there's space for both your hands, and then just allow the hips to sink forward here for a few breaths into your lizard pose. And again, option 1 is stay here just as you are. Option 2, maybe come down onto 1 elbow, maybe you come down onto both. Wherever you are, whether you're on the hands or 1 elbow or both elbows, keep searching for length through the spine. So imagine that the crown of your head and your tailbone are lightly being pulled in opposite directions. Check in with the breath. Make sure the breath is coming in and out through the nose. And ideally, the breath is still reaching the abdomen. Now, if you're on the elbows or on 1 elbow, take your time to slowly come back up to the hands. Now we're going to bring that left foot back into alignment with our hip if you walked it out to the side. This time keep the right hand under the right shoulder, sink the hips forwards, and then twist towards the left leg, hugging the belly button into the spine, reaching those left fingertips up towards the sky. Taking a couple of breaths here. Again, option if you'd like to, tuck the right toes, lift the right knee, and as you press back through that right heel, draw forwards through the left knee and shin. Let's begin threading that left arm down from wherever we are. And we're going to come back into our all fours. Take your time. Bring the big toes to touch. When you get there, find your child's pose for a couple of breaths. Head and heart opening to the ground. Slowly, when you're ready, walk the hands in. Roll up through the spine and gently shift yourself off your knees into a sitting position on your mat. And we're going to be taking our legs wide. Not everyone's favorite position, I know. But it really doesn't matter how far you take your legs out to the side. The more important thing we're looking for is to be able to sit up tall, keeping our head over our shoulders and our shoulders over our hips. So for some of you, you may even like to sit your hips up on something like a folded blanket or a rolled up towel or a yoga block if you have one. Just something to elevate those hips to allow that lower back to lengthen. So once you're seated and you check to see that your spine's in alignment, I want you to flex your feet so heels stay on the ground but face the toes up towards the ceiling. Take a moment to grow tall through the spine. Hug in those lower abdominal muscles. Find your breath. Again, maybe even close the eyes just for a moment. And then grounding down through both sitting bones. Start to walk those left fingertips down the left leg. Doesn't matter how far they go. And take your right arm up towards the ceiling. And option one is stay here. Option two is bring that right arm overhead, bicep in line with ear. Depending where your left hand is down your leg, you might grab hold of your big toe, you might grab hold of your leg. It really doesn't matter, but make sure both sitting bones press into the ground evenly. And we're still searching for this idea of length through the spine, spinning the chest open and hugging in those lower abdominal muscles to protect our lower back. Okay, from here, let's slowly come up through center. Take a moment to lift up tall. And when you're ready, start to walk your right fingertips down the right leg. This time, the left arm reaches up towards the sky, maybe just staying here. If you want a little bit more intensity, then you can bring that left arm overhead, bicep in line with ear, rolling the chest open, hugging in, belly button towards top of the pubic bone, and pressing down through both sitting bones with equal pressure. Making sure we check in with our feet. So just check to make sure you haven't forgotten about the toes. Are they still flexed? The feet still active? The legs still engaged? Check in with the breath. Are we still breathing? Okay, beautiful, guys. Take your time to slowly lift up. Lovely work. Bring both hands in front of your body. Legs are still wide. Last few moments here. Walk the hands forwards, just as far forwards as you want to go. Keep the spine long. Maybe the head drops down. Maybe it stays more upright. You choose what feels most appropriate for you here. Again, breathing deeply. And then gently walk those hands in. Use the hands, if you like, to carefully bring the legs together. Place the feet on the ground about hip width apart. Bring the hands behind you. And then just for a breath, drop the knees down to one side. Come up through center and drop them to the other. And maybe do that one more time. Just allowing the hips to release. And from here, we're going to make our way down onto our back. So take your time and just check you have some mat space behind you or some floor space wherever it is that you're practicing. And as we come down onto our backs, let's just hug the belly button in towards the spine, rounding out through the back, just to switch on those core muscles a little bit and slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. So take your time, go as slowly as you can. Head comes down last. Once you get down, take the arms overhead, maybe interlacing the fingers, and just take a nice stretch out here. Probably feel pretty good. Beautiful. When you're ready, hug those knees in towards the chest and just give your lower back a bit of a rock in any way that feels good. That might be side to side, it might be forwards and backwards, maybe drawing circles. Just a little bit of natural and organic movement, so you just tune into your body, see what feels most needed. And take your time to place your feet down onto your mat, about hip width apart, toes spread, feet engaged, all four corners of the feet pressing the ground away. Then stretch the arms down towards the toes, press the shoulder blades into the mat, and then gently press your lower back into the ground, feeling the hips tip forwards ever so slightly. And from here, just begin to lightly lift the hips up off the mat. Keep pressing down through all four corners of the feet. And if it feels okay, keep lifting through the spine a little bit more, maybe coming all the way up onto the shoulders into bridge pose. So as we take a few breaths here, find your inhale and exhale. Imagine that your knees and shins are being pulled forwards and the crown of your head is being pulled in the opposite direction. So we're keeping length through the spine and body. Take one more breath wherever you are. Make sure the toes aren't clenching. And then slowly coming down in reverse with control. So lower the top part of the spine first, then the mid-back, then the lower back. The hips come down last. And it doesn't matter how high you go into bridge, just as far as feels good for you. Take a moment as you bring the hips down just to allow the lower back to settle. Beautiful. And then just heel toe the feet together. Open the soles of the feet in towards each other and let the knees open out to the sides for a few breaths. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Hands maybe come to rest lightly on the thighs. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And one more time. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Beautiful. Use your hands on your legs to draw the knees together. And then bringing your right foot across your left thigh. Flexing the right foot. Slide the hands either behind the back of the left thigh. You may need to lift the foot up off the ground to do this. Or if you want a bit more intensity, you can lift the head and shoulders for a moment. Slide the hands over the top of the left shin. Ideally, you want to get your head and shoulders flat on the ground. So you choose the option that feels most appropriate for you. Now as we hug that left leg in towards us, we're flexing the right foot and we're encouraging the right knee to move away from the face and the chest and shoulders. That right knee moves away and the left leg hugs towards us. Let's take another couple of breaths here. It's going to be quite an intense place to be. Very, very slowly begin to release your hold on the left leg. Gently take the left foot down to the ground. Release the right leg. Maybe take a moment just to let the knees drop from side to side. Just for a second. And then come back into center. Bring the left foot over the right thigh, flexing the left foot. And then sliding the hands behind the back of the right thigh or maybe over the right shin. You choose. Usually we have one side of the hips that are tighter than the other, so you might find that you have a different preference for each side. So once you check in, find your breath, make sure your spine can be long. And then remember, we're hugging the right leg towards us as we push or encourage that left knee to be moving away. And just connecting with our breath here. Enjoying a moment of stillness in our day. Beautiful, guys. Take one more breath wherever you are. And after that breath, gently begin to release your hands, bringing that right foot down to the ground, taking the left foot off the right leg. And then again, if you'd like to, just dropping those knees side to side for a moment, just to release the hips and the outer glutes. They can be a bit tight. And we're going to finish with a twist before we take our relaxation. We just walk the feet in towards the bottom as close as you comfortably can. Pick your hips up and shift them just off center to the right. Not by very much, just an inch or two. Place the hips back down on the ground and then hug the knees into the chest. So if you're not used to doing this, it's going to feel really weird, but you want to feel that you're at that weird angle, okay? Keeping the knees hugged into the chest, drop the knees down to the left hand side. Left hand can come to sit on top of the right leg. You can have a bend in your right elbow, or you can straighten the arm if you have space. And then think about opening both shoulder blades down towards the ground. Either keeping the head centered, or if you want a little bit of a stretch for the neck, you can turn the head over that right shoulder. Checking that our breath is still reaching the belly. Okay, beautiful. Very gently starting to roll the knees up through center. Place the feet down on the mat. Pick those hips up, and this time take them through center, shift them over to the left, just by an inch or two. And then when you're at that weird angle, hug the knees in, and then drop them down to the right, as close as you comfortably can to the chest. This time, right hand can come to sit on that left leg as a bit of a weight to help keep the legs down. And then maybe turning the head over that left shoulder, maybe keeping the head centered, you choose. Thinking about pressing both shoulder blades down to the ground. It doesn't matter if both shoulder blades actually touch or not, but imagine that you want them to. So we're being heavy through the shoulder blades, allowing our chest to be open and expansive. Beautiful work, guys. After your next breath, slowly begin to unravel, rolling back to center. Place the feet down. When you get there, pick those hips up and bring them back into the center of your mat. And you may even like to just lift the head for a moment, maybe placing the hands under the head, support the weight of the head, and then slowly extend the legs, ideally to about the bottom corners of your mat. This just gives the hips enough space to relax completely. Check you're lying in a straight line, so wiggle around in any way that you need to. And then just gently run the thumbs up the back of the neck, just massaging the skin, the muscles, lengthening the neck away from the shoulders. And then place the back of the head down onto your ground, ready for Shavasana. Final relaxation for the last minute or so of our practice. So if you can, let the eyes close. If not, just let the eyes have a soft gaze. And let the hands lie away from the body. Let the palms relax. Let the breath return to its own natural and normal pace. And just observe how the body feels. Observe how the mind is doing. And observe what the breath is doing. Just accepting whatever your experience is right now. Not trying to change anything. And if you have the time in your day to stay here for a little bit longer, then I'll invite you to stay just as you are for as long as you need to end your practice. And if you need to get on with your day, then I'll invite you to gently bring the palms together, the heart center, as you are lying down. And just finishing your practice with one last breath in through the nose, and out through the mouth. Thank you very much for joining me. Have a great day and see you soon.